Shalom, this is a big back with another edification. I want to thank all of my subscribers. I want to wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits. And I want to wish that all of my subscribers are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here, here behind enemy lines here in America. I want to pull up Revelations 12 because I have a short clip to show. And these, the world is full of Gentiles right now, and the hopeful elect, the 144,000, will be gathered from the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the so-called Black, Latino, Native American man, woman, and child today. Christianity, the religions of the world, Satan and his devices, which are the religious sectors, and Satan being the so-called white man that the Bible speaks of, is the devil. All right, he is the devil that the Bible speaks of, the so-called white man, and the average white man may not identify as Esau, Edom, but the Jewish Zionists and the Christian Zionists, they know exactly what they're doing, but they're also deceiving. All right, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, they know that they're Esau, Edom, and that time is almost coming to an end, and then you have these Zionists. The Zionists, the other side of the sword, where they're just deceiving all the world. They're deceiving the Gentiles of the world with their religions. Christianity is an offshoot of Judaism. All right, all Christians have been deceived and lied to by Christianity and the so-called white race, especially the white man who is Esau, Edom. All right, all of the whites are Esau, Edom, but the so-called white man, he is the face of Esau, Edom. He's wicked. All right, now it says. Well, let's go over this real quick. Let's just listen to this.
And Sean Kane 3574 says they don't really believe they can force Jesus to return, do they? They do. If he does not, sure he'll be able to take this many sins. They believe that by murdering children in a school in Iran, they will encourage Jesus to return. At which point all the Jews in the world will have to convert or be killed. You see how crazy all this is? This Armageddon stuff? As I've told you before, I've been in Armageddon. It's a shithole. It's a shithole in Israel, not far from the fence in Gaza. Why anyone would want to encourage the end of God's creation, the end of this beautiful world, the end of our own children and grandchildren. Why would anyone want to hasten the end of that?
Well, George Galloway, because let me see, because Esau knows it's the end. All right, let's see. All right, second address 6 and 9. Let me view the chapter. Put this in airplane mode. George Galloway, he get my glasses. He asked the question, why would anyone wanna speed up the end of this world that we're living in now? It's because the elites, the Zionists, Christian and Jewish Zionists, they realize what's going on. All right? It's Salakia. It's the second address, 6 and 9. And this is why it's so beautiful to accept this scripture for what it is. And the Christians are going to be all over the world being deceived, and they're going to, have spewing a lot of rhetoric that Christianity is, the way to salvation. They're extremely deceived, man. All right, drinking out that damn cup of abominations, man. It says here, Second address 2:1. I'm gonna start at 1. The point is in 9. It says, and he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, right? This is in the beginning, way before the beginning, right? Before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundation of paradise were laid. So this is way before the world was even established, man. All right? This is how prophetic and how far back this promise and this prophecy goes. All right. Christianity is a hell of a drug, man. Deceive the world, man. All right. All praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah for allowing me to accept his truth. All right. It says, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, right? Before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, right? This is before the creation. This is before the Most High even introduced his thought of creating the world to the angels, man. This is before that. Or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, all right? It's before the sky was created, right? Before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot, man. All right, and ere the present years were sought out. All right, or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned. Right, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. All right, before they were sealed. That's the elect amongst the so-called blacks, Latino, Native American man, woman, and child, man. All right, were gathered before they were sealed that have gathered faith. All right, the faith in the word, man, the faith in this truth, man, for a treasure. Because yes, the promise that we're going to be put in our own land. All right, that we are going to be redeemed. All right, that we are going to be transformed. All right, that we will be sinless. All right, that is the treasure, man. All right, to be removed from this current world. All right, we're and put in our place, man, with the promises, man, that the Most High gave the Israelites, man. That's what it's talking about. 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, by none other. All right, the Most High God is going to do this, man. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, right? And the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau knows that he has a short time, and we're going to go to Revelations after this, man. All right, it says he has a short time, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob hand first held the Salakia. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. All right, Esau was born first. Jacob was the identical twin that was born second, holding the heel of Esau. Esau is the so-called white man. He's the elder brother of Jacob. Jacob is the father, the progenitor of the so-called black, Latino, Native American man, woman, and child, the Israelites. All right, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, this is what's going on, man. All right, George Galloway was wondering, why are the so-called whites trying to speed up the end? Is because they know that they have but a
And
short
Sean
time,
Kane,
man. They got a short
3574,
time, man.
says they don't.
You know what I'm saying? And he may not know it, but the men of the Lord, we know it. All right, the hopeful elect knows it. The hand of a man betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Edras asked thou not. All right, now let me go back to Revelations. All right. Right. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. All right, a crown of 12 stars representing the 12 tribes of Israel, man. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. All right, this is the World of Jacob, the Israelites got next, man. These Edomites, man, it's over, man. Y'all are at the end, all right? The beginning of the end of your empire, your rulership. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, all right? That's the so-called white race, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon the head. All right, that's NATO. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman. Right. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. That's the Messiah, all right? This is what George Galloway is referring to. Why would they want to speed up the end and bring back Jesus? Well, this is, hey man, when Yahweh Shai, when the Lord comes back, he's going to be putting a lot of people to death, all right? All right? It says, and she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. That's the Messiah, that's Yahweh Shai. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. All right. And the woman fled to the wilderness where she hath a place prepared of Yahweh, and that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was there a place found any more in heaven. That's these Edomites going to war with the Messiah when he returns. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the world. That's these Edomites, these so-called whites. They have everyone thinking that this second coming of the Messiah is going to be a righteous judgment coming upon the Edomites and those that were deceived. It's not going to be a happy-go-lucky kumbaya, giving, the Lord is not passing out hugs, man. He's actually slicing and dicing when he comes back. So Esau, Edom, they're just prepared. They're ready to just, go to war. They're getting impatient that they're not going to be able to establish their kingdom on earth, and they're not, all right? So that's what he's trying to do, all right? Let's go here. And I overheard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. The accuser is going to be Esau, Edom, the so-called white race, all right? After this war with, Israel will not be able to remain in that land over there. The Israelis will not be able to reside in Israel after this war. They're already fleeing Israel, and they're coming to Babylon. They're on their way to America like they're refugees. And these Christians are going to have to accept these Israelis as refugees, and I'm looking at the civil war over here in America because of these Israelis coming over here after they just did what they did. All right, so these Christians over here that are not Zionists are going to have a lot of resent and a lot of animosity towards these Israelis when they come to America. All right, it says here, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. All right? Now, it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he have but a short time. Okay? It says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, this is the so-called white race, when they are put down low, when they are brought low on the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. So that's going to be the so-called black, Latino, Native American man, woman, and child, the Israelites, all right? And, when anyone gets a chance, go read this Revelations 12 and 1 all the way down. Read it all the way down until until 17. All right. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. That's the Israelites, the hopeful elect, which keep the commandments of God, of Yahweh, and have the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Christians don't have the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Christians don't consider themselves commandment keepers. They don't see themselves as the remnant, because they believe God is saving everybody. Well, this remnant is the Israelites, and the Bible is the book of the Israelites. And this is Revelations talking about a remnant. All right, a remnant shall be saved. Those who keep the commandments, all right, of Yahweh. All right, these Gentiles don't consider themselves Israelites. They don't even consider themselves to be the chosen race. They believe that all people can make it, whosoever believes in the God of greed, Jesus. All right. Well, that's not his name. His name is Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. That's the name of the true Jesus. That's the real name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. It's Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, let's go here. This is Matthew 10 and 34. All right. For these damn Christians and how they're deceived by Christianity. He says, "Think not that I have come to send peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword." All right, that's what the Savior is coming to do. He's coming to shed blood. All right, he's not coming to pass out hugs. He's definitely not coming to hug on those hug, be all hugged up on these damn Gentiles. All right. What else? What else did he say? Let's see. Let's see here. Die. Let's see. Die. All right. Dyed garments from Bozrah, man. All right. Isaiah 63 and 1. All right. Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom? All right, a so-called white race. They want this Messiah to return, but they're deceiving the followers of these Christianity religions, and they're lying to them as if the Messiah is coming back to pass out hugs and to be accepting all these different walks of life. He's not. Says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah, that is glorious in his apparel? That's the Messiah, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I speak in righteousness, mighty to save. All right, so dyed garments from Bozrah, that's going to be the blood that's going to be all the way up on his garment. All right, and he's going to have splatters of blood and blood all over his garment because he's going to be putting people to death. I don't know why they want the Messiah to come back so soon, as if, he's coming back to pass out hugs and kisses, man. It's going to be ugly for these devils, man. And George Galloway, you know, he might not be an Edomite, you know what I'm saying? Because he's wondering why. But again, all of the Gentiles have been deceived by Esau, Edom, man. All right? So hopefully somebody's been edified. This has been a beak with another edification. I want to thank all of my subscribers. I want to wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits. And I want to wish all of my subscribers, you and your loved ones, are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines here in America. Shalom.